Happy Friday, everyone. We are going to do a stock market update for today, October the 3rd. It is after 4 p.m., so after the close of the market for the week. Now, in my last video, I talked about how in the past I was afraid to buy into strength. I was afraid to buy as stocks are going up and above my cost basis. So this week, especially today and yesterday, I followed my own advice and I did add to some of my positions. I added to Palantir, Tesla, Coinbase, and Shopify in my Roth IRA. So I want to go over those charts and talk about why I added at this time. We're also going to look at VOO and QQQ first so we can get a viewpoint of the overall market. So let's jump right into that and start looking at some charts. All right, we have VOO. So when it comes to doing technical analysis, sometimes less is more. I really just like using the standard moving averages. You got the 50, the 100, and the 200 moving averages. I look at those on the weekly and daily charts. I also look at RSI to see if I can spot divergence, or obviously you can spot when things are overbought and oversold. But looking at VOO in the market in general, we are in a bull market. Oh, before I continue, none of this is financial advice. I'm not professional. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just drawing some lines on the chart and hoping for the best. This is just for entertainment purposes. But I like to use those along with support and resistance areas. So you can mark off areas like here that were commonly tested. So we can see how much resistance there was, flip to support, resistance support. Using these along with the Fibonacci retracement has been working very well for me. So I'm going to stick with that for the time being. But let's look at what the market is doing. If we take the Fibonacci retracement from the previous all-time high down to this low point during the tariffs in April, we can see obviously that VOO has surpassed all-time highs and is moving up. So I want to look at a pattern that I've been noticing. Typically when a stock is moving up around this 0.786 to 0.886 level is a good telling sign of the strength of the stock and when all-time highs are going to be seen. Typically, once it gets past this 0.886, it's going to new all-time highs. Obviously, the next point is retesting that all-time high, and then after that, it's off to the races. So we can see that VOO did exactly that, moved up to this point, got rejected, found support, and it was in this little zone for a little bit, got above the 886, found support, same thing, hit resistance at the all-time high, found support, then it's off. Once it gets past all-time highs, that's when these next extensions are the targets. The 1.272, 1.414, 1.618, and 1.75. Given how strong the market is and the fact that VOO has found support on and above the 1.414 these last 2 days, I see no reason why the 1.618 and 1.75 won't be hit somewhere in this area. So I feel like we do have some room up for a little bit. The market is just strong. I mean, it's above the 50-day moving average this entire the past few months since the April lows, so super strong. Let's look at QQQ. QQQ is obviously going to be very similar since it has a lot of the same holdings as VOO, just a higher percentage in the tech sector. But as we can see here, same thing. Take the Fibonacci retracement from the previous high to this low. Once it gets around that 0.786 to 886, once it finds support on that 886, retest the all-time high, off to the races. So and here you can see it did trend back down to the 50-day moving average, found support, and then moved up. So the market is still looking very strong. Obviously, you want to proceed with caution at all time in the stock market. I do feel like we are getting a little bit euphoric in some areas, and people think that the stock market can't go down. You don't ever want to think that. You always want to make smart purchases, but you don't want to fight against the trend. If the stock market continues to go up, it is okay to buy into strength. That doesn't mean huge purchases at these high levels, but add to your positions that already started, or you can start your positions with smaller buys. I just bought some VOO and QQQ today, so I am basically buying at all-time highs. I always dollar cost average into those ETFs either every week or every other week. But yeah, the market is looking strong. So let's look at Palantir. This is the first time I've added to Palantir in years. My average cost basis is like $18 to $20, so super low. And I never added to them along the way because I was so focused on my low cost basis and I didn't want it to go up. But by not adding, I missed out on so much gains. I mean, oh, this is the most ridiculous chart I've ever seen. So why did I decide to add today? So there was an article released, I believe, by the US Army that stated there were some security flaws in the Palantir system, in the platform they were using, or something like that. And Palantir went down like 8%. So I bought almost close to this bottom point. Why did I buy here? Because it is right at that 1.75 level. Now, remember we talked about that level with VOO and QQQ. The 50-day moving average is also coming up right in alignment with this. If Palantir finds support on that 50-day moving average and this 1.75, it's going up to the 2.618. So it could have quite a bit of room to run after that. That's not a guarantee, obviously, but we are in a bull market. Things are moving up. The stock is looking strong. It is down based on some news. Nothing changed with the fundamentals of the company. In fact, Palantir has been getting so many contracts this week. I see it going up. So I did add one singular share to my position. Next up, we have Tesla. So Tesla, I added a share today. I also added one earlier this week. Similar to Palantir, I feel like Tesla is selling off not based on fundamentals. It just reported record deliveries, the highest deliveries ever, I believe. And then obviously people sold the news. That was probably expected. But it found support right on that 0.786. And we've been talking about that. It got up to the 0.886, found a little bit of resistance, back down, found support on the 786. So I bought here, added here, assuming we're going to see new all-time highs. Also, if you look at where it found support, this is why I bought today. Where it found support was the previous all-time high from November 2021. So the fact that it found support on that level is very bullish and strong, in my opinion. So I was like, let me add another share today. So again, not crazy ads, just adding to my position. The next one is Coinbase. I added the Coinbase as soon as we broke above this point here, above that 786. Why? Because like I've been saying, once it breaks above the 786, it's going to the 886. We'll probably see a retracement. Then it's going to retest all-time highs. Off to the races. A lot of stocks that have been doing well and are bullish right now are following that same exact pattern. And these stocks, Palantir is at all-time highs, but Tesla, Coinbase, and another stock we're about to look at have not yet tested all-time highs. I think they are due. They are strong companies. They've been doing well. I see no reason why they won't. The last stock that I bought this week was Shopify. I bought some earlier this week based on right before I didn't know this news was being released, but I bought it right before ChatGTP released the news that you're going to be able to buy directly from Shopify merchants in ChatGTP. That was right there. I bought because it had found support on this 50-day moving average. As of right now, we see here what happened. It hit that resistance on the 0.886, went back down, tested that 0.786 50-day moving average. How many stocks have we seen that on today? And now it's currently above that 0.886. Shopify has yet to retest that all-time high. Once it does, I feel like these higher targets are going to be hit. So the stock market is looking very strong right now. Everything is looking bullish. Obviously, that doesn't mean just buying blindly. I do think there is some hype and euphoria right now. I have yet to buy into the neo cloud stocks. We can look at some of those. I've been eyeing Iron, and it was up like 10% today. Oh man, this stock. See, this is a great example of what we were just talking about. 786 got above the 886, all the way up to the 1.75, back tested down to the 1.414. Man, ugh. This 72 there might be a chance, but this stock is super strong. CoreWeave has yet to break out to that point, but it's working its way up. And then we have Nebius. Look at where it just hit, right at the 1.618. I'm considering just starting the dollar cost average into CoreWeave, Nebius, and Iron. And what was the other one? CIRF. Okay, so CIRF retested all-time highs, back down, currently at resistance at all-time highs. I'm considering a small position of just dollar cost averaging into these companies. I don't want to make big purchases now because I do feel like they're just going up, and there is a possibility they are going to correct or retrace soon. But overall, the market is strong. That is what I was purchasing in my Roth this week. I'll do another video. Yeah, I'll either film it today or tomorrow. Doing an update on my YouTube portfolio, which I did a little bit of buying today and this week. But that is it for today. The market is looking strong. Make wise purchases. The goal is to have that portfolio grow and not lose money. So don't just blindly buy into the hype. Do your research, do your technical analysis, look at the financials of the company, make good decisions, and let's grow those portfolios.